New York City. This is Charlie Rose.
James Proud is here. He is founder and CEO of Hello. The company looks at why we sleep the way we do. Hello's innovative sensor technology examines sleep patterns and provides reasons as to how we might get a better night's rest. Proud was a member of Peter Thiel's inaugural fellowship in 2011. More about that later. The billionaire investor gives $100,000 to inspiring entrepreneurs under the age of 20 who then skip college. I'm pleased to have James Proud at this table for the first time. Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Let's talk about you first.
Okay.
So at some point when you were a teenager, you got very interested in writing code?
Yep. It was actually 9 years of age.
9, so you weren't even a teenager.
No,
Who introduced you to the idea? And you're self-taught, obviously.
So I started using a computer when I was 5.
Yeah.
Soon after, discovered the internet. And then around 9, I discovered this thing called HTML, which basically said you can make your own websites.
Right.
So I was like, wait a second, I can just make whatever I want to do myself. And so that's sort of how it took. It wasn't really...
Did you read a book, or what did you do?
There was a book actually in a store which said how to write HTML. I picked it up and I looked at it and I was like, wait, this is... I can do this? So I rushed home and started coding there.
Yeah.
It was when I sort of turned 12 that I began to actually get paid to build websites for other people.
12?
12. I was 12.
Now, where are you growing up?
South London.
Okay. And go ahead.
I was 12, pretending to be 22 on online forums and just messaged people like, I could build a better website than that.
Yeah.
They're like, okay, how much money? And I was like, well, I'll take a phone and an MP3 player.
Yeah.
A bit later, I discovered I could get paid.
Yeah, cash is better.
Well, checks started arriving at the home, and my mum thought I was a drug dealer, but I was like, drug dealers don't really get paid in checks. And she's like, no, I don't want to know. So I continued the coding away in my bedroom.
Yeah. And then when you got 18, it's time to go off to college.
Supposedly.
Supposedly.
Yeah.
So, and then you found out about Peter Thiel.
So when I was finishing high school, I started working on this side project in between exams. When I finished my exams, I took a year off just to focus on this. And at the end of that year, I decided that actually, if I went to university, the first thing I'd want to do when I left is what I'm doing now.
Yeah, right, exactly.
So at 8 a.m. on the day I was supposed to enroll in university at 9 a.m., I told my parents I wasn't going to go. And they were basically like, okay, let's focus on your 10-year-old brother. He can still be saved. It was actually 6 months later that I saw Peter's views on higher education and, hey, maybe you could not go because of this fellowship idea. And I was like, I'm 19.
Yeah.
I'm already not going to university, so yes, I've no reason not to.
And so what happened then?
So I applied. I never dreamt I'd ever be able to get it.
Yeah.
And then 6 months later, they basically said, do you want to come out to California? And Peter would like to have you come out here. And for me, it was life-changing. Having the ability to do what I was already doing in the best place in the world to do it, due to someone like Peter, yes.
Okay, so you have a scholarship, you're there, and you're working on what you want to do, all the things you just said. And so what do you create? What do you do with your time and your skills?
Sort of, I spent about a year figuring it out.
Yeah.
I worked with Max Levchin, the other PayPal founder.
My great friend of this program and mine.
For a little while, and then when I sold that side project from the UK I'd been working on, I decided to actually start a new company, which became Hello and ultimately Sense.
And what's the idea of Hello and Sense?
So Sense is
I guess we should talk about crowdsourcing too.
Yeah.
A Kickstarter.
Yeah, so our original launch was via a Kickstarter campaign. Right. So Sense itself is a simple system to monitor your sleep, understand the environment, the bedroom in which you're sleeping in, and what we think is reinvent the alarm.
Okay, but Kickstarter sent you about $2 million? How much?
2.4.
$2.4 million to go to...
In a month.
In a month?
In a month, yes.
And coming in denominations of what, mostly?
It was $99 on average.
Is that right?
Yes. Well over 20,000 people said...
$2.4 million in denominations of about $20.
99.
No, $100.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. And with what do you owe to the people who send you the money?
This product.
You just owe the problem. In other words, they're doing it for you because they want to see you succeed, because they'll believe that you have a good idea that'll benefit you and humanity.
Yes.
Okay. So what is the product?
So Sense itself, it's a simple system to understand how you're sleeping, but also what's going on in your bedroom, the environment in which we sleep in, and then reinvent the alarm as what we think a smarter alarm. So you wake up feeling good and not terrible and groggy in the morning.
Well, how does it work? I mean,
Yeah.
show me.
So it's a two-part system. So this is Sense, which sits on your bedside table. Yeah. This looks at
There's lots of sensors in there?
A lot of sensors.
Right.
Things like light, sound, temperature, humidity. What are the things that are conducive or not conducive for a good night's sleep? And then the second part is what we call a sleep pill. And you clip this onto your pillow and your partner's pillow, and it's able to actually see how you sleep throughout the night using actigraphy. It looks at your motion, your tossing and turning. And then the third part is iOS and Android application to view everything.
So all the information is fed into Android or iOS, correct?
Correct, yes.
And then you analyze that, or is there a software program that analyzes it for you?
So it's analyzed for you.
Yeah.
We want to be able to present it to you in an easy to understand way, but also as time goes on, begin to actually learn what affects your sleep. How could you yourself begin to improve and optimize what you're already doing? Give
me an example of that.
A big example is light. Light is one of the most disruptive things in the bedroom.
Agreed.
Whether it's TVs, whether it's phones, and Sense is able to detect and see those things and be able to say, hey, maybe you want to actually turn your lights off a little bit before you go to sleep.
Yeah.
Yes.
And what about temperature?
Temperature is huge. Just being able to be told that your bedroom is a few degrees too high and just adjust that before you sleep.
And the level of the temperature affects your sleep?
Yes. It's actually better to have a cooler room than a hot one.
Yeah. So tell me more then. So in other words, people can take this information through the sensors, look at it, and know how to adjust so that they'll get a better night's sleep.
Yes. To be able to optimize, but then also see that things are actually going well. Is my room good?
Yeah. Is it user-friendly?
Very. I think when you look at the devices that were out there at the moment, technology itself evolved around sleep. It's very clinical, or it's something you have to wear. It's something you have to charge.
Right.
For us, we're like, technology needs to disappear. How do we make something that enables you just to fall asleep and just get into bed and not have to worry about this stuff, but it's still there? For us as a company, we wanted to build a very different type of device. We're not building computers for people to use. We're building computers around people. And it's a very different way of doing things.
So what did you do with the $2.4 million?
We used it to build products which are just about to ship.
And you're going to ship them next week, I guess?
Correct, yes.
So you have a company, you have a product, you have an assembly line, you're all set to go.
Yep.
And can you shop online only, or can you shop anywhere else to buy these products?
At the moment, it's direct from our website.
Yeah, so you buy it from the website?
Yes.
And it sells for about, what, $100 and something?
$129.
What else do you need to get the feedback? Just to go through iOS or go through
Yeah, you just download
Android.
the free application and then you're ready to go.
Download the free application.
It's very simple,
you know, and then it tells you what to do. Do you use this?
I've been using it for several months.
And how does it change your life? How did it change your life? How does it change your life?
For me, it's been very interesting to see actually the past couple of weeks as we're gearing up to launch, how my sleep qualities begin to degrade slightly.
Yeah.
But for me, I'm very sensitive to light exposure, and being able to actually be reminded to get my room in the right conditions just before I fall asleep is huge.
So where do you take this? You have this product. You want this to give you a viable company. That's what you want it to give you.
Yeah. So I think for us, when you actually look at Sense and what we started with sleep.
Right.
The reason we actually started with sleep is because we're not a sleep company. For us as a company, as I said, we're very interested in how do we enable people to live better lives. And when you take something like sleep, historically, it's been frowned upon, it's been neglected.
Right.
But how do you sleep less? How do you not? It's weakness.
Yeah.
But you yourself recently said,
like breathing, yes.
Yeah, you said recently you've seen more in the past year on why we should be sleeping and the benefits of sleep. And I think people...
Did you see me say that on television, or did I just tell you a few minutes ago?
I saw you on the morning show.
Yeah, I did, in fact, say that on the morning show.
Yes.
Right.
And we saw this, and we saw that people begin to realize, actually, if I live to 90, I spent 32 years of my life asleep. Yeah. Maybe this is actually having a huger impact on me than I thought before.
And maybe we should pay attention.
Maybe we should
try best we can to enhance the value of it.
Everything we do, like creativity, like socializing, eating, exercising, is impacted by our sleep. So for us as a company, if our goal is to enable people to live better lives, to improve people, what better place to start than the foundation of every person's day?
And so what we're getting here is what you call, or somebody calls, sleep intelligence.
Yes.
You know, the idea of making you smarter about sleep. You then have to change your behavior. You have to, take the room down to a cooler temperature, or you have to make sure to take the light down to black. You have the whole range of things that's incumbent on you to take as instruction from the sleep intelligence, from the...
I think the biggest part is just being aware.
Yeah.
A lot of people aren't aware. When we were speaking earlier, you were saying just being conscious about it and knowing how important it is also just the biggest first step. But then the changes you can make to, for example, the bedroom and your environment, they're very small, but the compound effect of them is huge.
Are you a rare exception in terms of the amount of money raised by Kickstarter?
We're up at the top.
You're at the top.
We're not at the top. We're in the top projects.
But is there some idea that Kickstarter is going to play a larger and larger role in terms of seed capital for wannabe entrepreneurs?
It's an amazing enabler. So for us, like, hardware is costly. It's expensive.
Yeah.
You go to chip vendors and say, we want to work with you. They're like, well, how many are you really going to sell? So being able to actually go to Kickstarter, which is this community of engaged individuals that are like, I'm willing to wait for a product, I'm willing to part with my money to say, I want this, that's huge. And they've enabled companies like Hello and Oculus and many others.
You think it's a disruptive element with respect to venture capital?
I think there's a place for both. For Kickstarter serves as a way to prove to venture capitalists that it's a viable business, and then they can come in and help propel it and take it further.
And what do you want?
What do I want?
Mm-hmm.
Personally, from a young age until now, I've derived my joy from building things that other people can use. And being able to do that with a team of people that share a similar passion, and to be able to work on problems that are so expansive like sleep, well, I'm the happiest person alive.
But when you think about life, you're now what, how old are you now?
23.
23. Do you think about, gee, I want to build the next Google, or do you simply think about, what's a big idea that I can be obsessed by?
It's what can I be obsessed by?
You're not thinking about how can I get rich, how can I build another great company. You're thinking about what it is that I would like to accomplish, that I can build, that will bring me some great pride of satisfaction.
I think Zuckerberg said it well when he said that actually some of the best vehicles for change are private entities. And we've got 30 amazing people, and we're going to continue to grow. And the more customers we have, the more people we serve, the more people we hire, enables us to do greater things, which brings me more personal satisfaction. And so for me, alongside building great products, is also how do you build a great company? But it's not just, I want to build a company for the sake of building a company.
Look at Facebook and Google.
Yeah.
That's a pretty good guide. Yeah. And Apple as well.
Yes.
And college.
Yes.
College is about more than simply going to college to learn how to write code. And that's what you're already doing. It's also about a liberal education. It's about a whole range of things. Now, I know Peter and I have had this conversation as well. It's about being a more interesting person in terms of being exposed to, in a concentrated way, culture, music, books, ideas, history. Is that something you would like to have in addition to creating a very good company?
I think I'm surrounded by a group of people and in an area where there's a lot of knowledge that you can pull from. And so while I didn't go to university and wasn't exposed to those things in that setting, I'm continually trying to learn. Yeah. And not just about code, not about technology,
not about my
life.
Company, about life, exactly. My point in saying it that way was that not that you can't do it without going to college. You can do it, certainly. There's so many people that are self-taught that have gone to do great things. I know of no better example than Bill Gates, who reads like crazy and has an enormously as curious a mind as I know. But universities are the best place to do it in a concentrated way for the most number of people. But lots of people. And so I'm sure that anyone who feels as I do about the value of liberal education look at you with great admiration, because it seems to me that you are going to do something that demands your attention, but at the same time you have some sense that we're all connected to something larger than we are.
Yeah, I think for me, when I decided not to go to university, my main criteria is, where am I going to learn the most?
Yeah.
What am I going to do that I learn the most? And that's always how I select and make choices. And I believed at the time that not going and continuing the project I was working on and trying to find a way to get to California was going to be that. And I still believe that.
What's the most exciting thing happening on the internet today?
The most exciting thing?
Other than hello.
Well, it's
I obviously, it's the forward advancement of apps, all kinds of apps. Obviously, it's how mobile is dominating our way of receiving both entertainment and information and communicating.
I think things like
the cloud, where we can store everything.
The cloud has been a huge advancement. I think you're beginning to see similar things in hardware now that enable companies that couldn't have been built before. Kickstarter is an example of that. Decentralized systems such as Bitcoin are personally very fascinating.
Right.
We'll see how they take on, and yeah.
Do you know Mark Andreessen?
We met recently.
Oh, did you really?
Yes.
Can you tell me what it was about?
I was showing him sense.
Oh, really? And was his response good?
Yeah, he said he said his wife would love it, and he wants one as well.
That's it. That's great. That's what you have to do.
Yes.
Develop a sense of enthusiasm for your product. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me.
It's very good to have you. James Proud is the CEO and founder of Hello. Thank you for joining us. See you next time. For more about this program and early episodes, visit us online at pbs.org and charlierose.com.